So to get started, there are basically 4 lesson areas, or 4 different types of lesson areas in Blackboard. And those areas are content areas, and content areas are top-level containers for content accessed on the course menu, so it'll be available over here. And then you have folders. Folders are containers that can be added to other content areas if you want. And lesson plans are the 3rd type, and those are containers that can hold lesson profiles, instructional objectives, etc., and the content students need to complete those instructional objectives. And then you have learning modules, which are, I think, the most complex. And those are containers that are used to organize and package course content, and they have a table of contents. So let's start with the content area. So if you're in your course like this, you can create a content area by clicking the plus sign above your course menu and selecting content area. All you have to do is name the area. What I will do in my classes is I will name an area for lessons. And then you just want to make sure that you click available to users and hit submit. Oh, it'll say name must be unique because I already have a lessons here. So let's just change the name. More lessons. Submit. So now you've got this area here. You've named it, and then you'll see this empty box next to it, and basically that's telling you this link has no content. So that's how you make a content area. And then once you're in this area, you can add content, and we'll cover that during this session. So let's go to more lessons, this content area that we've created. So you can build content. I want to show you how do you create the next type of lesson area, and that's a folder. So what you would do is you would go under new page. So build content, new page, and content folder. Now, content folders are one of the easiest ways to create a container for content. It can be added to a content area, a lesson plan, a learning module, and you can even add a folder within a folder. So you can also allow, when you create the folder, you can create text that describes what is in the folder, and folders usually appear in a vertical list. So I'm just going to create a folder right here and put folder. And then my description is going to be this is a folder. So you want to permit users to view the content, and you can even track the number of views if you wish, but I'm not going to do that right now. You can also control if you want to restrict when it becomes available or when it stops becoming available. You can put that under select date and time restrictions. But I'm going to hit submit right now. So now we have a folder. So this is the 2nd type of content area. And you can add more folders, and they're going to appear in a vertical list, and students will be able to click inside and outside of them. So that's the 2nd type of content area. The 3rd type of content area is a little more involved, and it's called a lesson plan. If you want to create a lesson plan, you want to go to build content, and then you're going to select lesson plan. Now, a lesson plan has 3 parts. So it's in a lesson plan, I kind of see it as a cross between a folder and the more advanced learning module. So with your lesson plan, you're going to have content information, which is a description of the lesson and the associated course goals. And then you're also going to have curriculum resources, which are going to be the content items that you create that students will then use to meet those course goals or meet those goals of the lesson plan. So I'm going to put here, I'm going to give this lesson plan a name. It's called lesson plan. You can give it a description. I will usually put, in this lesson, you will learn what a lesson plan is. Okay, and then you have all of these kind of lesson plan sections that are kind of there automatically. And you have the option to share them with students. I don't really have a need for these, like for instructional level. So if you don't want to use that, all you have to do is click the X to to get rid of them, I don't use instructor. I do use objectives. So for objectives, what you want to put down is, after this lesson, you will be able to, and then I like to put a bulleted list of, you know, objective 1, objective 2, so on. So I will actually put down what the student is going to learn in this lesson plan. And I get rid of this subject area because I don't think students need it. So let me X that out. Once you've created your objectives, you want to make sure that you share it with students. And I like to create another section in this lesson plan that's called the checklist. So if you go up to add lesson plan section, you have the option to add all these different types of sections to your lesson plan, but you also have the option for a custom field. So I will select custom fields. And as you see here, it's going to pop up underneath my objectives. I like to do a checklist. So this really helps students when you're doing an online class, because you can put the objectives, but they might not know what things they need to complete. So you want to name it checklist and hit save. And then what I do is I put in complete the following tasks. And then I'll actually put, you know, task 1, task 2, and that could be anything from assignments to surveys to papers that they need to submit. So this is where I'll put their checklist, and that just helps them to know what they actually need to complete in order to successfully complete that lesson plan. And you want to make sure that you also share this with students. You want to permit your users to view content. Like I said, you can also track the number of views, and you can select date and time restrictions for this lesson plan. But I'm just going to go ahead and click save and continue. So once that loads, it's going to bring you to this curriculum resources area, and this is where you're going to put your content. And we're not going to cover that right now, but this is where you would put content items and stuff like that. So that is basically how you create a lesson plan. And if I'm going to show you really quick how it appears to students. So let me go ahead and enter my student preview. So if you go to more lessons, you can see lesson plan. In this lesson, you will learn what a lesson plan is. I can click on that. And now you can see that you have this content information listed. So the description, the objectives, and the checklist. And once we add content items, they'll show up down here for students. So that gives you an idea of what students see. And I'm a big fan of lesson plans just because you have that kind of, you have that content information that's clarifying for students what they need to complete and why they need to complete it and what they're going to learn as a result. So let's go ahead and exit student view. And I'm going to go back to this content area, and I want to show you the last type of content area that you create, and that's a learning module. So if you want to create a learning module, you want to go to build content and select learning module. So we're going to call this learning module. And as always, you can put a description text for this learning module. And then you have more options here. So you can open the learning module in a new window if you wish. You can enforce sequential viewing of the items in the learning module. And then you have your regular standard options, you know, permit users to view content, tracking number of views, and then selecting a date and time restriction. Because a learning module has a table of contents, you have the option to show that to students. So I'm going to not change any of these options. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And then as you can see, the icons are different for each of these things. So this is a folder, this is a lesson plan, this is a learning module. What happens is after you create a learning module, you can go in and build content into that learning module. So what you can do is you can add an item. So this is one type of content item. So I'll go ahead and create an item. And I'll just say, so with items, what you can do is you can add basic text that you can format. And you can actually format the text within the item using this text editor right here. So you can bold text, you can italicize, you can underline, you can strike through. You can also change the font of text here, and you can also change the size of the text. And if you're creating a bulleted list of items, you can do that here by selecting bulleted list. You can actually make that a numbered list if you wish. Say it's a list of steps that needs to be completed in sequential order. You can change the color of your text, and you can also add a highlight to your text to draw attention to certain things. You have other basic options like cut, paste, search, stuff like that. You also have the ability to create links. So if you wanted to create a link in this item, you can select the insert edit link, which looks like a chain. You would click that and it's going to come up with this insert edit link menu. And what you want to do is you want to put the path with the HTTP. So we'll just put Google in here. And you have the option here to target open in new window. And I always like to do that because it allows the student to stay in the course while opening the content in another window, so it doesn't take them completely out of the course. And once you're ready, go ahead and hit insert. And as you can see, you now have a link. And if we were to click this link, let me go ahead and hit submit on this item so you can see what it looks like. You can click this link and it will actually open a new window for you. So let me go back into this item because I want to show you some of the other editing abilities that you have. So say you wanted to get rid of this link, you can highlight it and you can click the remove link option. And those are just some of the options you can explore. These are the very basic options for text. So I want to hit, oh, also, I don't want to forget. So with an item, you can also attach files. So this is really helpful if you have an article that you want students to read or a PDF or a copy of your syllabus. You can go ahead and browse your computer and find a copy of a file that you want to attach, select open, and then now it's going to have that file attached to this item. So if we hit submit, we're going to see that now we have an attachment to this item. So with the learning module, the more items you add, they will all be added to this table of contents. So with learning modules, I think they're best for lectures or lengthy reading passages that you want students to read. I think lesson plans are a better option if you have a lot of different content items like quizzes and essays. I don't think it works so well within a learning module. But it's really up to you and what best meets your needs. So I want to go back to my lesson area and I'm going to go into my folder because I want to start creating some content items. So there you have a lot of options when it comes to content items. So you can create things like items, which can contain text, audio, movies, files, and images. You can create individual tool links to things like your course length and URL. You can create folders, lesson plans, assignments, tests, and surveys. So I showed you how to create a really basic item, but I want to show you how to create some multimedia items because I think that can be more exciting and more engaging for the class. So let's say you wanted to create a multimedia item. You want to use the item option, and I'm going to put here, what if you want to put a GIF into an item here? You can definitely do that. So what you want to do is you want to go to, I usually go to Giphy. So I'm going to look for a GIF that is a welcome GIF. I want to welcome students into my class. So you would find the GIF that you like, click on it, and then under copy link, get the GIF link here and just do Control-C for copy, and it'll say link copy to the clipboard. And then come back to that media, that multimedia item that you created. And what you're going to do is you're going to click HTML. Now, you don't need to know HTML or any coding of any kind in order to use the HTML function. All you have to do is click on it. It'll bring up an HTML code view, and all you have to do is hit Control V. Oh, I messed up. Hold on. So what you need to do is you need to, when you go and find your GIF, you need to copy the embed code. I apologize. So you want to copy this embed code, Control C, copy, and then when you go back to your item, if I can get there. Okay, I'll hit HTML. It'll open up that HTML code view. I can just dump this code in there, hit update. And after I do that, I'll get this yellow box with a trim of red dots. And I want to permit users to view content. I'll hit submit. And once you've done that, you now have a GIF, an animated GIF in your course. I can also show you how to put in a YouTube video. It's a very similar process. So you can go ahead and hit build content item. And we'll just call this welcome video. So this works really well if you have a welcome video for your course that you created and posted on YouTube. So if you want to grab a video from YouTube, all you have to do is go to share underneath the video and select embed. And that's going to give you the code. So you want to copy the code, copy the link, and then you're going to go back to your multimedia item, hit HTML, dump that code. Lord, it didn't work. Here, let me go ahead and copy, because we need the whole code, not just the URL to the video. And Control V, so you see how it dumps that code into the HTML code view. You'll select update, and you see how once again, we get this kind of yellow box with the red border. You can hit submit, and now you have a video as well that will work within the course, and as soon as people click on it, it'll play. So those are a couple of different multimedia items that you can create. You can also do things like add files. So you would go to build content and select file, and you have a couple of options with files. So you want to name the file first. You have the option to either browse your computer, or you can browse the content collection of your course. I'm going to go ahead and browse my computer and look for a file. Okay. So I can go ahead and upload this PDF, and I can permit users to view the content and then hit submit. And once I've done that, the file is now available and students can click on it and it'll open the file there for them. So that's one way of adding a content item. You can also add folders, but we went over that, so you know how to add a folder. You just go to build content and content folder, and that's one way you can create a folder within a folder. You can also do things like add URLs. So say you had a web link to a Google sign-in sheet or a Google form, you can go ahead and select build content and then hit web link. And what you want to do then is name the link and then give the URL with the HTTP. Okay. And you can also give a description of the link and where it's going to go. And you can hit submit. Web link, and students can click it and then go to the link location. All right. And that's pretty much it. So that's how you can create 4 different content areas, or lesson areas, I call them. So there's content area, a lesson plan, a folder, and a learning module. And then that's how you can create a variety of content items. So I'll just go ahead and open it for questions. Do you guys have any other questions about how to add content to these areas or or any questions that I can answer.
My question is,
Uh-huh.
I've got to see this again recorded, or are you going to send out the link to record it?
I'm going to send out the recording to everybody who signed up in the Learn Center. So if you signed up in the Learn Center for this, I'll go ahead and send the recording to everybody. I'll upload it to YouTube.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, if this is Carmen, if I signed up in the other section that didn't happen because of yesterday,
you will also get it. Yeah, I'm going to send it to everybody,
Okay.
including the one yesterday.
Okay. Now, when you were uploading a while ago, and you would you do upload again on, because I heard that if we upload videos to this Blackboard, that it bogs it down if you try to transfer the shell.
It definitely does. So like I've had faculty try to upload things to it and it just takes forever. And so I think it's because a lot of people started using Blackboard after we went to the move to all online. So a way you can get around that is you can either post your videos on YouTube, or you can create a file folder in Google and then share that folder with your students via a web link so they can access all your videos, and then you don't have to wait forever while you're uploading a video, because it does take some time.
Okay, so I didn't know how to use this at all when I started using it. I mean, all I used it for was grades.
Yeah.
And over in the content area, I use that lessons. I added the word guides to it, lessons and guides.
Oh.
And then I put a link list for my course in there. And every time I found something that I thought I wanted them to use, I would just put that link in the assignment. And I never went to any of these places you're going to. All I did was put it in the announcements. Here's your assignment in announcements. Yeah. Because I found out that if I put it in any of these other places, I had to go back and create an announcement.
Yeah, I think you can also, if you want to create an announcement, you can link to a specific area in your course. So that's an option. So if you go to announcements, if you want to create an announcement in your course, you can browse an item in your course. So say that this was going to be about the start here, like this was their introductory announcement. I could put, you know, welcome to the course. You want to start in the start here page and orient yourself to the course. And also on the bottom, it would have that start here link to take them to that.
Oh, what about,
so that's one way.
What do we use I noticed there was a calendar, and I tried to use the calendar, but it didn't make any sense to me after the fact. So these assignments appear in there, but they're not real clear in there. They're mostly for me. Do they see that same thing?
The students do see the calendar, and in order to use the calendar function, you want to do that when you use assessments. So let's go ahead and make an assessment really quick. So assessments, and then I'm going to create an assignment. So an assignment is for something like an essay or a lab report or something like that. So you want to click assignment, and you can name it. I'm going to just name it assignment. You can also put instructions here.
I do that. That's what I do.
Right. And what you want to do is select due date, and that's what's going to show up in the calendar for your students. So if you select a due date, so let's say 5/26/20, which is now, let me do end of day. You can also select end of day. And this is more to do with grading. So you want to put, you know, at least 100 points possible. You can add a rubric, but that will be for another day. I have another workshop on that. You can make the assignment available. You can also limit its availability, but let me go ahead and hit submit because we're looking for the calendar function. So after
you change, when you change the due date, are you messing up the calendar?
It's going to go to the calendar. It's not going to mess it up necessarily.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and go.
Toward the end of the term, I opened those due dates because those students weren't able to do this.
They weren't.
So I just opened up all the due dates until the last day to turn their work in.
Yeah, so it'll change it in the calendar. Okay. But let's go look at the course calendar really quick. And so you can see right now, I made this assignment and look, it's saying that it's due today by the end of the day.
So it doesn't automatically, you don't put anything in the calendar, you just put due dates on the assignment.
Yeah, so you can Yeah, so you can add things if you want to create an event. So say you wanted your stuff to be open just until the end of semester, say, you know, students are having real trouble, you can go ahead and click in here and create an event like, you know, assignment 1 due, and then hit save. And you want to make sure it's in the calendar for your course. And then you can choose an all-day event if you want and hit save.
Where was it?
I think it's in the individual date.
Where did you do that? I didn't see.
Oh, calendar or
Create the event.
okay, so you want to go to under course tools and you want to select course calendar, and then you can just click on a day and it'll pop up.
Oh, okay.
So you can create your own deadlines in here, independent. It'll automatically create a deadline for assignments, but you can create stuff like in here. So say you have workshop time set aside or you have office hours set aside. You can put this in the calendar and students will have access to this calendar and actually all the calendars in their course through Blackboard.
Oh.
So did that kind of answer your question or help?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
People are talking about modules in relationship to organizing your whole course in modules of each.
Yes. I prefer to do that using lesson plans. You can also do it using folders. So let me go ahead and go to my lesson area. So I've got mine set up using folders here. So it's whatever is easier for you, basically. So I create folders. I put what they're going to learn that week. And then I also put the due date in the description of the folder. And then when you click into the folder, I've created an item with their objectives and their checklist. And then I've got their content here for them to read.
A question.
Yes.
This is Becky. I'm adjunct.
Sorry, Becky, we lost your audio. Oh, sorry, you're back.
I'm back. Okay. I teach private violin lessons. I'm adjunct faculty, and so this is all I think very helpful. But I think I organize my lessons. It would fit into the module module.
Definitely.
But I also have a YouTube private studio channel, and I've recorded these very brief videos. So because I have many adult beginners, and I have these little duets that I've written. But you know, in order for them to play with me now that we're online, it's best for me to give them a link. So what would you recommend the easiest way that I do this?
Well, you can
give them a link, you know, to the video on YouTube.
So with the giving them a link, so you want to give a link to an individual student, or you want it to be available to all the students?
Individual ones, because they're each on their individual schedule.
Oh, okay. So what you can do is say this is your video. What you can do is you could just click share and then select this link right here for this. So this is the link that goes to this video. Right. And if you're in Blackboard and you want to communicate with your students, what you can do is you can do it a couple of ways. So you can either go to users and groups and select users and then just highlight everybody, or you can click here and send them an email, or you can do it through the Grade Center and select full Grade Center. And it's not going to show anybody because there's nobody in this class because it's a development shell, but you would just click the student you wanted to send the email to, email them as a selected user, and then email them the link. So that's one way to do it. So there isn't a way
to, like, for them to open up a lesson module on Blackboard, see printed instructions or items, and then a video there?
Yes, you can. Yeah, definitely. So you want to go to your video, because I have my own videos as well. So this works for any video. You just want to hit share, and then you want to select embed, and then get that code and put it as an item. So let me go ahead and go to one of my other classes really quick.
So you copy link?
You copy, so you go to share, and then hit embed, copy this code, and then you would go into, let me go ahead and go into one of my classes to kind of show you what it would look like. So I can go into my lesson area here, and go to my curriculum resources.
Yeah, but she
And then I would go ahead and do build content item. And then I would hit HTML, dump that code in. Oh, Lord, see, look, it's messing up on me.
Now, what do you mean dump the code in?
This code, it has to say iframe. So you have to make sure that you copy the whole code, iframe to iframe. And then
will it copy the code if you just click on copy link, or do I have to do Control C?
I think you have to, yeah, I'm doing copy. Let me see if it does it with copy link. Let me try that. Let me get back to the item. So you want to hit HTML. Oh, see, okay, that's my problem. I'm saying copy link when I have to just like highlight it all and then right click. So let me close this really quick and let me try one more time. Third time is a charm, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. Okay, so right click, copy, then you want to go back to your media item and hit HTML, open up that window, just dump it in, Control V, update, and then you want to name it whatever, and then hit submit.
I'm sorry, where is the update?
What do you mean update?
I wasn't, because you said it goes to that window. I didn't see the window.
Oh, I could do it again. Here, hold on.
I'm slow.
You're okay. We're all in this together. Let me go back to my other developmental course real quick. My developmental shell. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go to the content area you want to put the video in, and then hit build content item.
Right.
Name it, so video. And then after you have copied this code, you want to hit HTML over here.
Right.
And it'll say HTML code view. Click it. This HTML code view window will pop up.
I don't see it on the screen.
Oh, you don't see it?
No.
Oh no, that's probably why you're so confused. It's popping. Here, hold on. Let me stop sharing my screen and then see if I could just share. Okay, let's see. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So HTML code view, and then you want to hit Control V.
All right.
Dump that code, and then do update.
There's update. Okay.
And then you're going to get this right here, this kind of yellow box, and then you'll hit submit, and then it'll pop up here.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. That's so much clearer.
Thank
Goodness.
you so much.
No, you're welcome. I was having a problem with it. Does anybody else have questions that we can address?
How do you use a PowerPoint into this?
If you want to put a PowerPoint, there are a couple different ways for you to put a PowerPoint into this. So let me go ahead and make sure I have a sample file. Yeah. Okay. So there are a couple ways you can upload a PowerPoint, but the easiest way is to do it as a file. So you can hit build content and file, and then you want to name it. So I'll call it PowerPoint. And then you want to go find the file on your computer. I'm going to go ahead and go to my desktop where I have one waiting. Where are you? Here we go. We got this PowerPoint here. Select open, and it'll say file name and then the file type. And then you can have the option to open it in a new window if you wish, and then permit users to view content and then hit submit. And then once you've done that, let it process basically. And then here is where it's going to pop up. And then you can click it and it will download for them here, and then they can open it. Did that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's the easiest way to share a PowerPoint in Blackboard. Does anybody else have any questions that we can address?
Hey Janet, can you go over the lesson plans one more time, please?
Of course.
is
So
going up.
like I said, a lesson plan is kind of a more complex folder. So in a lesson plan, let me go ahead and go into, or no, I just want to go in here. So when you create a lesson plan, you want to create the content information, which is information about what's in that folder. So here I've just named it lesson plan and I've given a description. So I always like to give a description of what they're going to learn in that lesson plan. And then I have objectives here. And you want to make sure that this is a lesson plan section here that you can add. And I want to make sure that it has the list for students of what they're going to learn in this lesson plan. And you can add sections if you want. So if you want to add objectives, a subject area, materials that they're going to need. So let's say we're going to click one of these. Let's hit materials. That's going to add this section here. And you can actually share it with students and say, you are going to need the following materials to complete this lesson plan. And then you could put a list of what they need, right? So once you're happy with these sections that you've created and they're shared with students, you can go ahead and hit save and continue. And that's going to lead you to the curriculum resources. And this is where we can input content. So you can build, you can put an item here. So let's go ahead and put an item. You can put an attachment here. So just like we had that PowerPoint before, we could put that PowerPoint here and attach it to this item. We can click submit. And then give that a moment to load. So once you've done that, you've got this item in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to student preview so you can see how it's gonna appear to students. So let me go into my lessons area and into my lesson plan. And as you can see here, all that content info shows up here as description, objectives, checklist, and materials. And then any content that you add, like videos or PowerPoints or files, are gonna show up down here. And that's what students are gonna need to complete the objectives for the lesson. Did that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Another question, Janet, you taught us how to put that HTML code, or embed that.
Yes.
On the items, we have like a YouTube link and then, a couple of other icons where I can, upload a PDF file, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's one versus the other, or I do know we have a choice, but what should be our preferred choice? And we are trying to link the YouTube video, like embed them, or just
I like to embed them just because it's more, it's better to me. It doesn't take them out of the class, right? So anything that's going to kind of keep them in the context of the class, instead of having a link that clicks away where they have to view it and then come back. I like to embed as much as possible because it also makes it look visually interesting to students. So it's not just a bunch of text. They can watch a video because Blackboard does have a function to put videos in, but it's very static and it doesn't look good at all. So I prefer to embed just because it adds visual interest and it keeps students within the course. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions we can address with the time we have?
Is this the time to ask about how to embed sound over a PowerPoint that you're going to use?
This is definitely the time to do that. So if you want to record yourself giving a so is it your sound, like
No.
you talking about it? So it would be you
I'm sorry?
talking. So would it be you talking over the lecture and a PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
you're gonna be able to do that using Collaborate. So what you would do is you would click into Collaborate and click on a course room. And this course room is always unlocked, so you don't have to worry about it ever not being available to you. But ideally you want to join a course room, and once you're in the course room, it'll give you an audio and a video test. So once you're in the course room, it'll say you're the only one here. And then what you want to do from that point, let me see if I can find a PowerPoint really quick that I can share with you. So once you're in the course room, you want to go ahead and you can, over here on this Open Collaborate panel, you have the option to chat with students, moderate, but nobody's in here. You're just wanting to use the room to record yourself over your PowerPoint. You can select share content, and then what you want to do is you want to select, sorry, they're mowing outside. You want to go ahead and select share application / screen. So I have a PowerPoint up and ready that I want to share. So you can select share application / screen. And what this does is it allows you to share either your entire screen or an application window. I'm going to choose to share a PowerPoint presentation. And then what you can do is, while you're sharing this presentation, you can make sure, hold on, share application screen. I want to share my PowerPoint, my research project PowerPoint. I think I need to share my screen and then I have to share my audio. Nope, that's not true. Hold on. I need to share my PowerPoint, so share that on my screen. And then I need to make sure that my audio is on so it can hear me while I'm talking. And then I'm gonna click this hamburger up here and select start recording. So while I'm going through this PowerPoint over here, and this is appearing really small to you just because my screen is so long, but it'll look different on your screen once you're sharing. So what you want to do is you want to share that. It'll show recording in process. And once you're done, you want to stop sharing your screen, click over here and hit stop recording. It'll say recording has stopped. And then once you're done recording, give it some time. It'll take a minute to process. And then you want to click this hamburger menu in that original area that we went into the Blackboard Collaborate room, and click that, and then click on recordings. And that's where your recording will appear. It's not showing it right now because it's still processing it, but once it's there, you can actually download it, share it with students. And I will go ahead and put a link to a video explaining that process in the chat.
Jeanette?
Yes.
It's Carmen again. Do you when you hit recording, I use that to record the whole collaborative session.
Yes.
And how did they access that?
So they can access it a couple of different ways. So students can actually go to Blackboard Collaborate and they'll see sessions, but they can click on this hamburger menu and go access recordings. You can also share the recordings with them. So let me go to a class where I actually have recordings. So I believe I have some recordings in here. So let me go ahead and
Do we
go
have to tell
Collaborate.
them that we've done this? Or do they know?
You definitely can. So they're probably not going to know how to do it.
Your sound is going away.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? So you're probably going to have to tell them because they're probably not going to know how to access it. So you can tell them to go to Blackboard Collaborate and hit the hamburger menu and go to recordings. Oh, I've got no recordings in here either. Hold on. Let me find a class.
You just made.
It's going to take a minute to process.
If you don't put your video, your PowerPoint in the place where you put it, I just put it in share files, and it comes.
They can see that.
Full screen.
Yeah, they have it immediately. This is if you want to put a voiceover over your PowerPoint.
Can you voice over with it in files, or do you have to voice over it where you put it?
This is where I think Smith was asking, how do you record a video of yourself giving the PowerPoint lecture? So if you put it in share files, they'll have access to it, and that's fine. You don't have to record yourself.
So you don't record yourself if you're in shared files?
No. This is only in Blackboard Collaborate where you would record yourself.
Well, in Blackboard Collaborate, there's a place called shared files.
Oh, yes, there is. So that shares the file with the student, but that has nothing to do with you recording the session. It wouldn't. Okay. Well, so I mean, if you record the session and go over the PowerPoint in shared files, that'll show up.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay, sorry. So whatever you show on your screen in Blackboard Collaborate will show up in the recording.
So the way I did it, I since I didn't know how to do it, I did a Collaborate session once a week with all my sections, and then I gave them an assignment in announcements.
Awesome.
And they did the assignment, and all I had to do was put a grade value in there, and it was automatically in Blackboard. So I skipped all the stuff you're telling us because I didn't know how to do it.
Hey, I mean, the easiest way is the best way, right?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I think you figured it out.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it'll transfer to another course. I don't know how to do that.
I would say you have this option. So, okay, so remember how you said the recording wasn't here? Now it's showing up. You have this option where if you name your recordings, so you can click on these three little dots and you can edit the name of a recording, and maybe just for your own sanity, right? So let's call this like lab lecture. And what you can do with this is you can actually click on these three little dots. You can copy the link, and you can also download it. Once it's ready, I think it's giving me some guff right now, but you can actually copy the link and share that with your students as a web link if you want.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. So that way you could save those and move them to another course or
exactly.
section.
Yeah, you just share the link.
Is there a way in here to do all your courses at once?
What you can do is
if you had all level one
the same,
and you wanted to just build it one time instead of 4 times.
Oh Lord, tell me about it. So what you would need to do is go to need help, and then you would submit a ticket to the technical support desk and ask them to combine your sections. And you want to do that before classes start, because if you do it after classes start, you have you run the risk of losing grades.
Okay, so when they combine sections, so you'll have everybody in every section on one page?
Yes, it'll be everybody in all your sections in one class.
Wow, is that gonna mess you up at the end?
It shouldn't, no. You're asking such good questions. It will not mess you up at the end. You may have to go and put in grades by hand, because I think they won't be combined in WebAdvisor. Like, you'll have to go to each class and make sure that the grades port over. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that doesn't sound good though. It sounds like you better just do it 3 or 4 times rather than combine.
I know, but that's terrible. So what I've done in the past,
it takes a week.
It does. I think it's fine as long as at the end of the semester you'll just have to go into WebAdvisor and input each section's grades, but
each grade for the whole semester.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
What do you mean? It's just the same way we do it now with multiple sections.
No, it automatically goes into Blackboard. You don't enter the grade.
Oh, you mean the grades journey option?
I have no idea.
You've not used that? Well,
don't
you
know.
might ask. Actually, okay, contact the help desk and let them know you're like, hey, I'm thinking about combining my sections.
Okay.
Is this going to affect grade transfer? And then they'll be able to give you a solid answer.
Okay, good. Thanks. All right. Well, thank you so much. This was very helpful.
Awesome.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Do you have any other questions in the time we have?
If you were doing synchronous type, could you just put all of your sessions, save them in a certain place, and then enter them into your collaborative Ultra when you were going to use it?
Yeah, so let's go back to that Blackboard Collaborate. So what you're talking about is if you have some asynchronous with some synchronous. So what you're talking about is like not all students may be able to join the session at a given time just because of work responsibilities, internet access, etc. Oh no, don't do this to me, Blackboard Collaborate. Don't make me prove who I am. Here, let me get in there and see if it lets me in. Okay, so you can have this course room that's always unlocked, and you can have your session in there, you can record it, and once you have the recording, you can share this with your students who weren't able to attend. So what I would do is I would go ahead and copy the link, and you can go to your lesson area that we created, and you'll select Build Content and Web Link. You'll dump the URL here, and let's call this Lab Lecture Recording. Right? You can give it a description. And then you can hit submit. And once you've done that, it'll show up as a web link here, and you can click it, and your students will actually be able to view the recording without going into Blackboard Collaborate, which is something they might not know how to do. So I'm playing it right now. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Good. So any other questions we can answer in the time that we have? You guys have been a great class. Awesome. All right, so if there are no more questions, we can end early.
You did say you're going to send
Oh,
come again?
When you first started, when you first started, I had to sneeze just as you got started on content and went to lesson plans and lesson modules. And I'm not sure how you got to those places.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
It didn't take a minute, but...
Okay, no problem. I can definitely do that. So what you want to do to add lessons, like to add modules and all of that stuff, you just want to go to a content area. So a content area is like just an area in your course that you want to create to put things. So you'll name it and make it available to users, and then it'll look something like this, right? And then from here is where you can build content. So you can build content folders, lesson plans, and learning modules here.
Okay.
Awesome. Bruce, you were about to say something, sorry.
It's okay. I was just going to say you are going to send us a copy of this, correct?
Yes, everybody's going to get it. I made sure, especially if you registered for the Learn Center, I'm going to go ahead and download this recording, clean it up a little bit, and then everybody will get a copy of it. I'll send you the YouTube link.